Hi everybody, this is Donna, past girl at Vince's Gourmet. Today I'm doing the last of one of my restaurant favorites. Forgot my spatula. This is a dish it's a throwback, some of you might remember, from Aunt Josie's on the north side. They used to have a Cavatelli with broccoli, I think mushrooms, that's what I'm putting in. And this is a dish that my mom used to make all the time, and I kind of hope I do it the same way. And I'm using most of the ingredients from Vince's. And I'm going to show you how to make the homemade Cavatelli. We also have it homemade in the freezer section. But what I'm going to start off with is some fresh broccoli. I put about a quarter tablespoon, a quarter pound of butter in here, and about a tablespoon of olive oil. I've got it on high heat, and I'm using fresh broccoli and mushrooms. So I started that off. Now if you want to use frozen broccoli, that's fine too. Fresh is better. And you can par cook it, I don't. And I use the ends. I cut them up small because I like them. They get a bad rap. And then the florets as well. So I will show you that that was about a pound of broccoli. And then mushrooms. White mushrooms, don't wash them, you just take them, get a clean cloth, and wipe them down, slice them off, slice them up. You can take the stem off if you don't like the stem. I like the stem. I'm throwing the whole thing in. So I'll let that cook, and then I'm going to flip over to show you how to make the Cavatelli, and I'll come back to this. Bring it over. So, ingredients for the Cavatelli. This is durum flour, durum wheat flour, the brother or sister of semolina, which is durum wheat as well, you're more familiar with. It's the coarser grain that's used for pasta, but we're using the soft durum. And then I'm cracking an egg in the middle. And what I have is Vince's blend. It's about 3 ounces. Vince's blend is Parmesan Romano and Caciocavallo. And I'm just mixing that all on top. And then I have Sopraffina ricotta cheese, which again, about 3 ounces. And I'm putting that on top. And I'm going to start mixing. You can do this, heard me say, in your food processor. Once you get the hang of it, I do it by hand. And then you're just going to blend that all. I start with the pastry cutter or scraper, mix it in. And then I start mixing with my hands. And you really want to mix the egg. It's going to get on your hands, but it's going to come off your hands. Mix the egg in with the flour until you get a ball. This dough, you don't want it to be dry if you're using a machine. I mean, you don't want it to be dry anyways. But if you need to add a little liquid, once you get going, just have some water nearby. All right, stop. Okay, so here is my bowl of dough for the Cavatelli that I'm covering. Put it in the refrigerator. Put it under a damp cloth. And what I did, I made some earlier, I divided it in 4 pieces, and then you're rolling it out into, sometimes, again, you may need just a little bit of water. This is a Cavatelli machine, which we sell here at Vince's, and they're great. People, when I teach the class, they love using that machine. But if you don't have a machine, you can, all right, so be pretty even. And roll it out to a log. What was I going to say? Oh, you can do it by hand or the machine. So I'll show you both ways. So a Cavatelli to me is a skinny gnocchi. So you can take it that simply. I'm not great at this, but just your thumb and like that. Or roll it out longer. Take the, this is way too big, but you'll see with that. I'm not gonna show you. And take the back of a fork and roll it off the back of a fork. It's got the little cup and the lines, or the Cavatelli machine, which kind of spits out sometimes, so I'm going to put that there. There's 2 wooden dowels, and that way it won't fall. And you take your dough and you go, can't see it, you go really fast. And you put it through the machine. Sometimes you get one stuck. And then usually, which I will do in a minute, I'll take a little semolina and toss them in a little semolina to separate this. So I'm going to finish making this pasta and I'll be back to show you the next step. All right, so the broccoli and mushrooms, and that was a pound of mushrooms, and like I said, maybe a little over a pound of broccoli is cooking. I started out with a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and so far I've used, I think I said a 1/4 pound of butter in there, high heat. I've got the water boiling for the pasta. Yes, drop of oil, because it's fresh pasta, a touch of salt. In this recipe, by the way, you can put chicken in this if you want. I have, but I'm not today. So I'm going to season it now. I'm going to season it with black pepper, I'm just gonna, I want a new videographer, or however the heck you say it. A touch of salt. So I'm putting in some chicken broth. Right here I have 2 cups. May not use it all. I may. So I'm gonna let that cook, and I'm putting in some white wine. A little under a 1/4 cup. And more butter. Alright, so back over here, I've got the pot for the Cavatelli. You see I made them. I'm putting them in. This was 2 cups of flour that I started with. So I'm guessing this meal's gonna be definitely enough for 4 people. I would think. It's all in the pot. I'm gonna stir it around. They're gonna float when they're cooked. So I'm back to the broccoli. You don't want to overcook it. You want it to be have a little bite. And I am going to check to see the salt level. Good, doesn't need salt yet. I'm putting in a little bit of flour. I don't put cream or in this. What's that, about a teaspoon? And if you want it, well, gluten-free, but your pasta's not gluten-free. You can use gluten-free pasta though. Just put a little cornstarch in instead of the flour. Just to thicken it up just a bit. So again, I've got high heat. So when I tasted that, touch of salt. You can put a little crushed red pepper in here. I don't. But again, season it how you want. And I don't put garlic in this dish. You want it to be a little brothy. So I am almost to a cup of chicken broth. All right, over here, they're starting to float. So when they start to float, I go right in the vegetable. And I'm not gonna, if there's a little pasta water that goes in here, so be it. It's just gonna help thicken it up a little bit anyhow. And then I'm stirring it. This needs a little more pepper. Pepper knows. The rest of them are floating. You see that only took about 2 or 3 minutes. Not even 3 minutes. And you can cook, you can make these and freeze them. And then, you know, cook them later on or make more. And if you cook them from frozen. So the rest of that pasta goes in here. And this is the point where you look to see if you need a little more broth. And I'm gonna say yes. And I finish it with yet more butter. Because I like butter. And then, of course, cheese. You can mix the cheese in. I'm just going to put it on top. You can put this right in the oven like this and brown up the top. If you're going to put it in the oven, you can see the broth, I would make sure you have enough of that because it will absorb. Needs more cheese. And there you have it. My family's version of Aunt Josie's broccoli and Cavatelli. Everybody have a great day. Don't forget, if you want this recipe, email Donna at vincesgourmet.com, or if you want to get our newsletter, go to vincesgourmet.com and put your email in.